Well, hey there, you're on the internet, I have some free time, and welcome to the Triple N Network, where all you newbie nib nerds can find all the news you'll need. Let's look at an ink today, shall we? Now, today's ink, I have both in sample form and in cartridges. And that's Private Reserve Black Cherry Red. And all the tests were done in this MonteVerde Impressa with a 1.1 stub. And before you judge its appearance too harshly, I did send it through the washer and dryer at least twice. So, yeah. Let's check out the chromatography. Pretty interesting. You see that there's some potential for water resistance because there's this dark patch down at the bottom where the ink was initially put, and then there's a good solid dark band all the way up. And then there's a slight ribbon up at the top, and then this weird yellow, this like buttercup yellow thing going on up at the top. I don't know, and that's really weird, but kind of cool. Anyways, top down in density, Clairefontaine 90 grams per square meter. Camera, really? So the broad strokes, the down strokes took 21 seconds to dry. The thin side strokes took 12. As you can see, there's a good degree of shading. It's a dark, rich ink. Yeah, I said it definitely looks more like black cherry juice than actual black cherries because it does lean towards brown. It's not a pure red, so keep that in mind. I really liked this pen, paper, and ink combo. I thought they looked really good together. Water test is a bit messy. However, what's at the center of it is fairly clear. I feel like if this weren't a stub, so like if the side of the stub weren't, you know, if it were just like a solid round nib, it might even be clearer than it was here, but yeah. No bleed feather spread. Next is Rhodia, 80 grams per square meter. Again, you see a decent degree of shading, 14 seconds to dry. See it in the writing and in the scrubby. No sheen, no bleed feather spread, there was good flow. Still leans a bit towards brown, and I said the dry times were logical because this is a slightly wet pen, and it was a fairly, you know, 1.1 is not a small stub, so again, a good amount of the water test remained. Especially what's there is really there. It did dye the page. No bleed feather spread. Next is Tomoe River Paper, where again you get a good degree of shading. However, here the shading is so intense that I feel like it highlights the thin areas just I don't know, just a touch more than I'd like. 14 seconds to dry. I said not too much echo, but I guess that's a personal preference thing. It wouldn't have bothered me too much, but, you know, to each their own. It definitely still leans towards brown. It does have that black cherry juice color. Not too bad for Tomoe River. It does like to let ink slide away once you add more water. But for the most part, what's there is fairly there. Might have even done better in a round nib instead of a stub, but yeah. Next is 20-pound Copier Paper, where using a slightly wet and fairly large stub probably wasn't completely fair. 3 seconds to dry. Not a lot of shading, but again, as I said, bleed could have been worse, spread, but could have been worse, feathering, but could have been worse. So it's all there, but it's not unforgivable. I said it looks like one of those extremely dark red wines, like a Pinot Noble, but yeah, dyed the paper a bit, but still very dark, very there. Didn't explode, not too bad. And as you can see, there's bleed in spots and there's some echo, but overall really not too bad considering it was a fairly large and slightly wet stub. Next is Mead Notebook Paper, where I'm noticing now you do get a bit of shading, which is kind of impressive. 3 seconds to dry. Again, the bleed could have been 1,000 times worse. Not much spread. and there was no feathering. Yeah, it was very well behaved in that regard. I said it was a decent pen, paper, and ink combo, and that's a shocked face, in case you couldn't tell. I mean, it's obvious, duh. Either that or it's Kermit the Frog, I don't know. But, not bad. Pretty dark, pretty clear. Again, not much feathering or exploding. Dyed the paper a bit, and yeah. I mean, the bleed is really just along the edge, which makes me think it's more to do with the pressing process of the paper. And next is Moleskin Notebook Paper. And this is the new Moleskin Notebook Paper that behaves freakishly well and is infuriating because most of the time it doesn't act like this. 8 seconds to dry. Definitely still leans towards brown. You do get some shading. I said 2% shading remains, but I'd say there's more than that. No bleed. Yeah, slightly woolly, but no real feathering and no real spread. Fairly dark, fairly there. Did expand a bit. Did feather just a bit, but really not bad water test. God, Moleskine is infuriating. Anyways, there you go, for your consideration from the Triple N Network, Private Reserve Black Cherry Red. It definitely leans towards brown, and it does evoke black cherry, but more like black cherry juice. So there you go. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching. Bye.